Oh, hey, long time no see. Sorry for the wait between videos. That Sprunky stuff really did a number on me. Thankfully, this video has nothing to do with Sprunky, so it should be smooth sailing from here on in.
Tung 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 sahur.
So, why the hell am I making a video on this shit?
Trallallero trallallà.
Well, my friend, I actually have a very good reason for making this specific video, especially considering when in time I'm making it. Let's start from the very beginning, shall we? As some of you may know, I got my start in serious content creation, not here on YouTube, but actually on TikTok. Even though I haven't posted to TikTok in literal years at this point, I still enjoy scrolling on it from time to time. I bring this up because, I don't know if you've noticed, but like 80% of the memes and trends in the current day come out of TikTok, and then spread to other websites from there. Whether that's a good or bad thing is entirely up to you. So, fast forward to earlier this year. I'm scrolling on TikTok like a bum one night, and suddenly, I run into a video that is literally just a picture of an AI-generated shark with blue Nike shoes on with some random Italian audio in the background. I really didn't know what to make of it. But what I did notice is that it had a fuck ton of likes and views. And it also kind of reminded me of that one AI-generated picture of the bird with massive balls. I'm too lazy to find it again myself, but if editor Alice wants to go on Google and look up bird with massive balls and then put a censored picture on screen, I mean, they can do that. They're allowed to do that. Where was I? Oh yeah. Mysterious TikTok shark. I really didn't think much of it and just kept scrolling. What I didn't realize at the time is that this simple video of a walking shark was truly the calm before an insane storm. Day after day, I would see new interpretations of the same video, none of which had the same shark from the original, but instead featured completely new absurd AI-generated images of different animals and objects. None of these videos used the same audio from the original. All of them had their own unique names and accompanying audios.
Trippi troppi, troppa trippa, tre topi trotterellano, tra tromboni tritati.
I still really didn't know what to make from any of it. I was extremely used to brainrot as a concept at that point, but I'd also really never seen anything quite on this sheer scale before. Like, I need to stress just how many views these videos were bringing in. I'm talking tens of millions. As the days went on, I kind of just started to accept the fact that I'd occasionally see some Italian brain rot while scrolling TikTok. It started to become just normal. That is, until one day quite recently, when I decided to check up on the YouTube content farms. I really wasn't expecting anything of note to jump out at me on this little search, but I could not have been more wrong. As you may have noticed, there really aren't any new things for content farms to latch onto right now. A lot of them are still stuck on Sprunky, and a handful, such as our good friend Buggy Huggy, are still making Poppy Playtime fake chapter slot videos to this very day. But everything else is pretty dead right now. Or at least, that's what I thought. When doing my little content farm sweep, I started to notice channel after channel uploading content farm videos about Italian brainrot. Somehow, this shit crossed from TikTok to YouTube Shorts and then slowly started to creep into actual YouTube videos. Now we can finally get to this. Here's why I wanted to make this video. I've covered content farms many times on this channel before, but admittedly, I'm usually pretty late to making videos on them. My video on Sprunky is a prime example of this. By the time I put that out, the height of that trend was long over. I was really just chronicling the history and the aftermath. However, this whole Italian brainrot trend is in a very interesting position right now. While yes, there are lots of content farm videos already made about it, I think there's a very good chance that it still hasn't actually reached its peak in regards to long-form content popularity. Sure, it reached its short-form peak like a month ago. That is undoubtable. It's already starting to become cringe over on TikTok in the eyes of the masses, and I'm sure that will only grow over time. But over here on YouTube, I think there is a very real chance that we are only in the baby stages of this shit. Most of the notable big content farms and kids channels have not attempted to milk Italian brainrot yet. Think Noodles just recently latched onto it, and I would not even be remotely surprised if channels like LankyBox follow suit. But as of right now, there's no Game Tunes, no Horror Skunks, pretty much none of the heavy hitters have made videos on Italian brainrot yet. Hello, yeah, from the future here. In the middle of writing this script, which kind of took way longer than it should have, GameToons finally uploaded a video on Italian Brainrot. Just wanted to let you all know because this script was pretty much written entirely before that happened. Okay, back to the video. Now, there could be a very good reason for this, which we'll talk about a bit later, don't worry. But as it stands, there is a very good chance I am making a video about a content farm trend before its peak in popularity. Or this shit will just fizzle out and die. Who knows? Woo! That was a lot of yapping. But hopefully, you understand why I'm making this video now. Now that we have all the backstory stuff out of the way, how about we actually talk about Italian Brainrot? I have a ton of stuff lined up for this, including a discussion about how this trend is actually way more controversial than you might think at first glance. Or at least parts of it are, we'll get to it. All that and more in this deep dive that's sure to rot your brain more than any video I've ever made. So, without any further delay, let's get into it. This is Exposing Italian Brainrot. So, how did any of this actually start in the first place? Well, like many weird trends such as this one, the actual origin and tracking how we got from the beginning to the present day is a little tricky. This is even more of an issue when key videos to the story are completely deleted, but I'll try my best to piece this all together. As I briefly mentioned earlier, the video that started this entire Italian Brainrot trend is one featuring a shark walking on land wearing blue Nike shoes.
Trallallero trallallà, porco Dio e porco Allah. Ero con il mio fottuto figlio merdardo a giocare a Fortnite.
This specific character and origin point for the meme is known as Trallallero Trallala. Now, the audio from this video actually originates from a video by the now deleted TikTok user EasyBurger401, which to my knowledge had nothing to do with AI generated walking sharks. I actually have no clue what the original video that featured this audio even was. There really isn't that much information about this stuff at this point, considering that Google search results have been completely taken over by the modern version of the meme. Would be kind of interesting to see where this actually started, but maybe it's way funnier being a complete mystery. I think the official explanation going forward on all the wiki pages should be that this audio just spawned in one day, like a Minecraft pig or a Minecraft shark. Yeah, Minecraft sharks. Fast forward a little bit to January of this year, and the TikTok user Elchino1246 uploaded this video, which is, as far as I'm aware, the earliest known video with this audio that actually relates to the current version of the meme in any way.
Trallallero trallallà, porco Dio e porco Allah.
We have the iconic walking shark here, except now it's a fucking bird for some reason. The interesting thing with this video is that it really doesn't have that many views, which kind of leads me to believe that either the original video with this audio did have something to do with this stupid ass shark and it's just not documented for whatever reason, or there are other videos missing from this equation that I'm not aware of. I only say this because, spoiler alert, the direct translation of this audio has literally nothing to do with sharks at all. I find it hard to believe that two separate people would come up with pretty much the exact same ideas for visuals for this audio when said visuals have zero connection to the actual audio. Maybe the person who made the viral Trallallero Trallala video that everyone knows did see this video, but it's so underground that I kind of doubt it. I feel like there's a very good chance there's something missing from the puzzle that connects this bird version of the shark to the more popular version of the meme. But if I had to guess, it's probably all deleted at this point. If for whatever reason someone watching was in these niche communities when this stuff was actually being made and knows the true origin, please spill the tea in the comments because I am genuinely curious. Anyway, a couple other videos ended up using this audio before eventually the Trallallero Trallala video you're likely familiar with was uploaded by the TikTok user amoamimandi.1a. So you can blame them for all this. The editing on this video and pretty much every other Italian Brainrot video is literally just stock CapCut fire effects being blasted over and over again on top of a still image while the audio plays in the background. I wouldn't really say I find any of these videos, like, funny at all. However, I do think that the stupid fire effects are kind of funny. They just remind me of those ironic edits people make of alpha male podcasts where they just spam a million CapCut effects.
From that point on, my dad knew he couldn't take much. Now he's 13. He picked up a stick, a wooden stick, and he went to hit me over the head, and I did this, and it broke.
And then I took it out of his hand,
threw it on the floor, kicked him in the leg, picked him up, and threw him on the coffee table.
Coffee table broke in half.
Caption says it all, man. Top 10 things that did not fucking happen. As far as I know, Amoa Mimandi's TikTok account was also taken down. Huh. Kind of funny that two of the main people involved with the creation of this meme were nuked off the face of the earth. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Regardless of the original account being deleted, this meme ended up blowing up so much that its impact was well outside the scope of the original upload by the time the video was taken down. The seed was already fully planted at that point, and suddenly, more of this type of meme was being generated and uploaded daily. These individual Brainrot videos would eventually be recognized under the Italian Brainrot label due to the majority of them featuring an AI voice saying random things in Italian. Soon, content about the characters in these videos started to go viral as well, which is pretty much how we got here with all these content farm videos. And that's pretty much the origins of Italian Brainrot, or at least the main points of it. So far, I've really only been talking about Tralalero Tralala, but just talking about one of these memes is really not doing this topic justice. Not even remotely, actually. The rabbit hole that you can go down by watching all these TikToks and crawling through the Brainrot wiki is truly like no other. There are so many of these characters that talking about every single one would genuinely be impossible on multiple levels. But I'd be doing you all a disservice if I didn't at least go over a handful of the most popular characters. So, let's do that. But first, this video is sponsored by Raycon. By the time you're seeing this, Mother's Day will have either just passed or is quickly approaching. Regardless, it's a little late to be buying presents for Mother's Day at this point. But you know what isn't too early to do? Get your dad a sick present for Father's Day. And you know what would make a great Father's Day gift? Raycon Everyday Earbuds. I've already talked a lot about the great features that Raycon Everyday Earbuds have in previous videos. And that includes the awesome colors they come in. The way your earbuds look is almost as important as how they sound. And Raycon has a ton of options to match your style. Or in this case, your dad's style. I'm sure there's a color option available perfect for him. Raycon Everyday Earbuds also come with noise cancellation, perfect for when you or your dad are at the gym or anywhere else that's typically noisy. Maybe you're still not convinced and want to hear a first-hand personal experience from someone who's actually used Raycon Everyday Earbuds. Well, how about me? I've had my pair for quite a while at this point, and I use them all the time. They are great quality, and if they're good enough for me, they're probably good enough for you. Or your dad. I've also been loving these cool protective case covers. First of all, check out this design. It complements the earbuds color perfectly, and it's so stylish. And not only do these look great, they support wireless charging, so I don't even have to take them out of the protective cover to get 90 minutes of battery in just 10 minutes of charging time. With a 30-day happiness guarantee, you, or your dad, have nothing to lose trying Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/yeah to get 15% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/yeah. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. The first character I want to talk about is Tralalero Tralala. Oh, god damn it. Well, I guess we aren't moving on from this guy yet. Whoops. In all seriousness, I'm getting this one out of the way first for good reason. So just bear with me for a second. Obviously, at this point, you're all pretty familiar with what Tralalero Tralala actually is. But something I haven't talked about yet is what the iconic audio featured in his video actually means when translated. I would wager that most normal people that have interacted with this meme, or any other Italian Brainrot videos that don't speak Italian, probably didn't think to do their homework and check what the audio in the video they just watched is actually saying. I mean, it's a TikTok after all. You're gonna see it, maybe let out one tiny snort of amusement, and then move on with your day. That's pretty much what I did. It wasn't until I decided I was going to make this video that I thought to actually dig a little bit deeper to find out what the translations for these videos actually are, and oh boy. Listen, most of these are fine. Like, the majority of them are fine. Nonsensical as hell, but overall pretty harmless. On the other hand, though, a few of these translations are very strange to say the least. Sometimes even featuring random offensive phrases just for the hell of it. The offensiveness of these definitely varies in severity, but this is absolutely an important point to bring up regardless when talking about these videos. Remember earlier when I said there might be a reason that some of these bigger content farm channels and kids channels haven't bothered touching this stuff yet? Yeah, this is the reason. In fact, there's already an example of a kids channel I've already talked about previously making a video on some of these characters and then swiftly deleting it later. That being Max Design Pro. I wouldn't even know about this if it wasn't archived by that community, but yeah, they made a whole ass animated short with both Tralalero Tralala and another Italian Brainrot character we'll talk about later. And then they took it down shortly after. I can only assume it was taken down because of people in the comments section telling about the translations. I really don't see how this could have gone down any other way. So, if we don't see any more content farm channels touching this in the future, there's the reason why. Unfortunately, as I just alluded to, our main man Tralalero Tralala's audio definitely falls under the offensive category, at least to some extent. Most of the translation is literally just random shit like, I was with my fucking shit kid playing Fortnite, but at the very beginning of the audio, after the AI voice says Tralalero Tralala, the following phrase pretty much just translates to blasphemy. Obviously, this is going to be offensive to specific groups of people for obvious reasons. Now, there are some people that think the phrase Tralalero Tralala itself directly translates or stands for a blasphemous phrase. But this is not true, like, at all. Tralalero Tralala literally doesn't mean anything. It's just a nonsensical set of words. It's like an English speaker saying la 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 lee. Like, that doesn't mean anything, it's just a bunch of sounds. Anyway, definitely a little lower on the offensiveness meter, especially compared to a certain other Italian Brainrot character we're gonna go over later, but still, come on, it's pretty lame. Other than that thing about the translation though, Tralalero Tralala is pretty harmless. Although, it does list infiltrating into multiple military bases, playing cracked Minecraft, plotting an assassination of Obama, theft, and using aimbot in Fortnite competitive under his crimes on the Brainrot wiki. So maybe this guy actually isn't so harmless after all. The stuff on this page is genuinely insane, by the way. Like, how many fictional wars and battles has this normal-ass shark wearing blue Nike shoes been in? Enough of this guy, I'm sick of talking about him. We still have a shit ton of other characters to get through, so let's move on. Alright, let's take a look at Trippy Troppy next. Now, this one is actually super interesting, and it's not because of the translation this time. Although, the translation on this one is literally just a nonsensical tongue twister, if you were curious. Nothing super noteworthy here. No, the reason that this Italian Brainrot character is so interesting is that people can't actually agree on what this character is even supposed to look like. There really aren't any other examples of this happening with any of the other audios. But somehow, multiple videos with this specific audio ended up going viral at pretty much the exact same time, all with different versions of the Trippy Troppy character. This has caused infighting in the Italian Brainrot community over which AI-generated slop design is the real Trippy Troppy. Well, listen, I'm here to settle this debate once and for all. So let's see the contenders. First up, we have the original Trippy Troppy. This is the version of the character that was created alongside the viral audio. It's like a fat bear thing with a whole ass fish as a head. I don't know. Most of these Italian Brainrot characters are weird, but this one especially is very weird. The original Trippy Troppy video ended up gaining a decent amount of traction, but the audio of the video ended up going way more viral than the entire video as one package. This then led to other random people using the audio for completely different Italian Brainrot characters. One of these is a fucking human leg with a small hippo head attached to the top of it. And then on top of the hippo head is a random ass cactus because why not? Who cares? Also, this one moves and it makes me very uncomfortable. I don't want to look. Can we get this one off the screen, please? Jesus Christ. Speaking of uncomfortable, this thing! This one is even worse than the original. Actually, now that I think of it, both of these have been worse than the original somehow. Anyway, this one is like one of those cursed images that the biggest cornball you know would try and show you in class or something. Le cow is eating le watermelon with human hands? What? What is Italy even about? Good question, man. Good question. Well, this version did end up going pretty viral. I definitely wouldn't call it the definitive version of Trippy Troppy. No, that honor goes to this version of the character, which is the most widely accepted version of Trippy Troppy as far as I can tell. And you know what? I have to agree with the masses here. This is definitely the best version. I'm not sure how I feel about the cat having a second set of shrimp eyes. That's kind of insane, actually. But I think this is probably the best we're gonna get here. This upload also has the most likes out of any video under the sound, so yeah, the people have spoken. This is Trippy Troppy. Next up, we have an Italian Brainrot meme that isn't even Italian. Tung 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 Sahur. Even though this character is constantly lumped under the Italian Brainrot umbrella, this specific meme actually has nothing to do with Italy at all. No. This time, we have to pivot our attention over to Indonesia. Even though the language is different, the actual structure of this meme is identical to Italian Brainrot, hence why it's often referred to as such. Tung 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 Sahur is a bit of an outlier compared to his Italian brothers though. If you haven't noticed, most of the Italian Brainrot characters are related to animals in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes they are literally just normal ass animals with nonsensical features like Tralalero Tralala, while other times, they're an animal combined with something else, like Trippy Troppy. This isn't representative of every Italian Brainrot meme, as we'll see later, but for the most part, this is the case. This animal theme is so strongly linked to this trend that it's sometimes even referred to as Italian Brainrot animals specifically. With that in mind, Tung 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 Sahur is definitely not an animal of any kind. It's like a large sentient wooden stick holding a smaller, probably not sentient wooden stick. It also has humanoid feet because of course it does. Wait, hold on. A wooden stick? That sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it reminds me of. Oh shit.
From that point on, my dad knew he couldn't take much. Now he's 13. He picked up a stick, a wooden stick. He picked up a stick, a wooden stick. He picked up a stick, a wooden stick, a wooden stick.
Son of a bitch, this guy's dad is Tung 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 Sahur. It finally all comes together. Even with these differences to the standard Italian Brainrot formula, Tung 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 Sahur is easily one of the most popular characters to come out of this trend on a global scale. As for the meaning of any of this, I think I've pieced it together. First of all, what even is sahur? Well, sahur is a meal eaten specifically during the month of Ramadan. It is the final meal that is eaten before the fasting period of that day. The translation of the audio in the Tung 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 Sahur video basically just says that he is an anomaly that will haunt you if you do not come down to eat sahur after being called for it 3 times. Tung 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 Sahur is almost being positioned as a modern day folklore creature, which is kind of a super interesting direction to take one of these memes in. No idea why he's a fucking stick though. Couldn't figure that one out. Anyway, shout out to Indonesia. Hey, remember a few minutes ago when I said there was a super offensive Italian Brainrot meme that we were going to talk about later? Well, this is the one. Bombadiro Crocodilo. Unfortunately, this is also one of the most popular memes in this genre by far, so I can't really just ignore it. We'll keep this brief. Bombadiro Crocodilo is a version of this meme created fairly early into its lifespan as an attempt to sneakily make fun of a terrible situation going on in the world right now. Because these memes are in Italian, most people around the world will watch them without any understanding of what is actually being said. This then led to a bunch of innocent people who didn't know any better sharing what is essentially a piece of hate speech, which is obviously not cool. I'm not going to get into the specifics of what the translation actually says. Feel free to do your own research if you really want to know. But just be warned, it's really insensitive, it's really gross. The only reason I'm not directly saying what it is because this is not my wheelhouse. I have no idea how YouTube reacts to talking about this stuff, and it is sensitive. Keep that in mind if you want to check out what the translation actually says. By the time the meaning of Bombadiro Crocodilo's audio was more widely known, the damage had already been done. When people think of this meme, they're going to think of Crocodilo. It just became that popular. With all that in mind though, I do think that Bombadiro's popularity is slipping faster than some of the other characters from this meme. So at least there's that. Thankfully, this segment has a happy ending, because Bombadiro Crocodilo was actually arrested by the Italian Brainrot police recently. They got a tiny ass helicopter and took him away forever. He's dead now. Bombadiro Crocodilo is fucking dead. Well, with him gone, I think we need a new crocodile Italian Brainrot character to take his place. Luckily for you, I think I found the perfect replacement. That's right, it's Glorbo Fruitadrillo. He's just a happy little guy, and I don't think he's committed any war crimes, so we should be good. Oh, god damn it! Ballerina Cappuccina is an example of an Italian Brainrot character that is actually Italian and isn't the typical animal-based AI-generated image. Instead, she's a ballerina with a giant-ass cup for a head. And you know we love Cuphead on this channel, so big ol' thumbs up from me. I'm actually gonna read out the full English translation of her associated audio. You'll know why in a second. Ballerina Cappuccina, me. She was the wife of Cappuccino Assassino, and she loves music. La 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 la. Her passion is ballerino lo. Alright, so 2 different characters were mentioned there, both of which I haven't talked about yet. Cappuccino Assassino is another somewhat popular Italian Brainrot meme that, to be honest, feels the most out of place out of any of them. Like, most of these memes use somewhat realistic AI-generated images, but this guy is generated to look like a cartoon character for some reason. I'm honestly kind of surprised this one caught any traction, but I guess it was made early enough to catch the initial wave. Anyway, as stated in the audio, Cappuccino Assassino was the wife of Ballerina Cappuccina. The other character mentioned in the audio, Ballerino lo, wasn't actually a real Italian Brainrot character when the Ballerina Cappuccina video was made. Ballerino lo was created specifically for the audio by the creator, but later on, someone would make an official design for the character. A lot of air quotes there. In the grand scheme of things here, he's pretty much just a side piece that Ballerina Cappuccina used to date but doesn't anymore. This very loose romance plot set up by the Ballerina Cappuccina audio ended up leading to everybody shipping her with various Italian Brainrot characters, mainly Tralalero Tralala and Tung 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 Sahur. There are countless videos about this shit, and it's pretty much this character's entire identity at this point. This goes even beyond simple one-way shipping as well. We also have videos of Tung 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 Sahur cheating on Ballerina Cappuccina with other Brainrot characters. I really wanted to bring all of this up to show you just how many different directions this stupid shit can go in. One simple line in an audio led to an entire subgenre of shitty AI romance videos. Truly the peak of humanity here. Anyway, I think you all get this meme at this point. Hopefully. Let's move on. Now that the groundwork for Italian Brainrot has been laid out for you all, how about we talk about the content people are making about this trend? This is where I'd normally take you through a bunch of YouTube channels and content farms, but we're still so early that there really isn't much to talk about there right now. I mean, there is stuff, but I really don't want to talk about Italian Brainrot X Sprunky animations for 5 minutes straight. I'm actually okay, thanks. Nope. We're gonna keep it nice and simple this time around and just go over some Italian Brainrot content on TikTok. There's gonna be a little bit of YouTube overlap later for one of the things I want to talk about, but for the most part, we're just gonna stick to Italian Brainrot's home platform. Maybe in the future I'll swing around and cover some YouTube stuff once there's more to talk about, but we'll see. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's get into these videos. One of the most popular forms of content to come out of the Italian Brainrot trend is lore videos featuring the characters. There really isn't much of an ongoing story happening in any of these videos. It's pretty much just a bunch of random ass scenarios that just so happen to feature the Italian Brainrot characters. A lot of these have to do with characters getting arrested for some reason, which at this point is kind of its own entire separate trend. The most popular account in this niche is Italian Brainrot TV, who is responsible for most of the lore videos that have a considerable amount of views. These videos, while very weird, are not actually that interesting on their own. There's really only so much I can say about them. However, this rabbit hole actually goes deeper than you might think at first glance. In fact, these lore videos have a direct link to a completely different AI video trend on TikTok that has nothing to do with Italian Brainrot, but ended up getting popular around the same time. Walk with me here because this is a bit of a doozy. On March 4th, 2025, our good friend Italian Brainrot TV from earlier uploaded the video, The True Story of Burr Burr Patapim. Now, you're probably wondering, who the fuck is Burr Burr Patapim? Well, Burr Burr Patapim is a pretty popular Italian Brainrot character that I didn't cover earlier, but they're actually one of my personal favorites. They're this big-ass forest creature mixed with a proboscis monkey. Oh, and they also have massive human feet because par for the course at this point. I would have talked about Burr Burr Patapim earlier, but I really don't have that much to say about them. They're my personal Italian brainrot goat though. Just putting that on the record. Anyway, back to this true story video. It goes over the story of this lore version of Berber Patapim who has a badass leather coat and smokes. Just an all-around cool guy. The basic story being set up here is that Berber Patapim, Tralalero Tralala, and Tung 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 Sahor used to be friends long ago. But eventually, they started to drift apart when Tung 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 Sahor became famous. Berber Patapim ended up in a fucking prison somehow? Don't ask. But Tralalero Tralala was not only a free shark, but also he was out for revenge. You see, not only did Tung 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 Sahor betray Tralalero Tralala, he also cheated with his wife, Ballerina Cappuccina. This led to Tralalero Tralala killing Tung 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 Sahor in an act of revenge. Berber Patapim figures out this happened from prison and sides with Tralalero because of how Tung 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 Sahor betrayed him. And that's where the video ends. On a bit of a cliffhanger actually. Don't you wonder what happens next? Too bad it's over and, well, you never will. Unless I want you to watch the first 10 seconds of the video I just talked about.
My name is Patapim. I grew into this world alone. No family, no love. My friends Tralalero and Tong Tong were the only ones who could fill the void in my heart.
Okay, now I want you to watch the first 10 seconds of this completely unrelated video.
My name is Simon Claw. I grew into this world alone. No family, no love. My friends Tim and John were the only ones who could fill the void in my heart.
Notice anything? This Italian Brainrot lore video is actually a word-for-word parody of a video from a completely different Brainrot lore, most commonly known as the Tim Cheese lore. This is truly its own entirely different can of worms that might get its own video later at some other point. Because unfortunately, I know way too much about this shit. I guess I should probably try and explain this, at least to some extent. Okay, are you aware of John Pork? Like that fucked up pig that always wants to call you. Yeah, that guy, that John Pork. So, the Tim Cheese lore is basically this big story being told across multiple TikTok accounts where this rat character, Tim Cheese, kills John Pork. This inciting incident then leads to a ton of other random storylines and characters being introduced. One of these characters is just a real guy, like an actual guy for some reason.
Listen up, Tim Cheese. You don't be messing with the kid. Lieutenant Colonel Black Ops, former congressman. You don't know my resume, you don't know who I am, and you don't know what I'm capable of.
That Berber Patapim story I mentioned earlier, it's literally just the Tim Cheese lore, but with the characters swapped out. Berber Patapim is the stand-in for Simon Claw, one of Tim and John's childhood friends. All you need to know about him is he is cold as hell, and technically becomes the main character of the lore at some point. Now, I bring all of this up for two reasons. One, I just wanted an excuse to talk about this in a video. And two, the Tim Cheese lore is currently doing a story arc about Italian Brainrot, having the characters go to Italy in order to take down the Italian Brainrot cast. The current story arc also features Tim Cheese, the AI-generated rat, being sponsored by fucking Block Blast, like the mobile game Block Blast. I'm like 99% sure this is a real sponsorship too, which is insane on so many levels. Anyway, Block Blast sponsorships aside, the Tim Cheese lore is super interesting to me. It's essentially this big game of broken telephone where a bunch of random TikTokers are trying to create a comprehensive story while having no clue what anyone else is doing at any given time. And I find that very fascinating. I'm gonna stop talking about this now because, like I said, it really deserves its own video, but the takeaway here is that the entire Italian Brainrot lore trend is directly taken from, or at least inspired by, the Tim Cheese lore. What a wonderfully weird rabbit hole. I don't know, man, drop a like on this video if you want a Tim Cheese lore video. I'll do it, I'll fucking do it. Whew, that was a lot. How about we talk about something a little less wordy? Well, if we're already on the topic of AI-generated videos such as the lore ones, we might as well talk about these Italian Brainrot versus videos. These are really as simple as they get. It's literally just people putting two Italian Brainrot characters together in an image, then telling an AI to make them fight each other. And the results sure are something. For example, here's a video of Tralalero Tralala fighting the Italian Brainrot character Bobrito Bandito. This one is a beaver, which felt thematically fitting for this channel for obvious reasons. Now, you'd think that Tralalero Tralala would put up at least a bit of a fight here, but no, he literally just gets shot twice and dies. Okay, well, to be fair, he does try and kick Bobrito one time, but stops in the middle of it for no reason and just gets shot again. What an amazing fighter Tralalero Tralala is. Am I right? In fact, he's so good that I think I'm gonna try and enter an illegal Italian Brainrot betting ring and put all my life savings on Tralalero. You think that's a good idea? Yeah, I think that's a good idea, actually. Okay, I think I'm actually gonna go do that now. Next time you hear from me, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Alright, BRB. Hey guys, yeah, here. I've decided that I'm sick and tired of I'm sick and tired of making money in legitimate ways, and I've decided that the only option for me is to start gambling. So I've actually put my entire life savings and all of my assets on Tralalero Tralala in this Italian Brainrot battle. So
Trallallero trallallà versus Bombardiro Crocodilo.
Come on, he can do it. I know he can do it. Look at him, he's walking, he can do it. No! I am financially ruined. Huge fan of the explosion in this video coming from nothing, by the way. The shitty AI didn't even drop the bomb. I literally got scammed. I demand a rematch. I actually don't want a rematch anymore. No, I'm actually good. You can actually keep it. I don't want it anymore. Finally, I want to talk about a song someone made about these Italian Brainrot characters. On March 21st of this year, TikTok user Lit Llamas uploaded Tralalero Tralala, the Italian Brainrot song 2, to the platform. Now, you might be wondering, what about the first Italian Brainrot song? Good question. This song has a very bizarre structure where instead of having like a chorus or something, it pretty much just keeps going with new lines and never repeats anything until the end, or repeats the opening lines again. Said lines in the song are just short little descriptions of an assortment of random Italian Brainrot characters. And that's it. It's a very simple song. Some of the lyrics make no sense, and all around it's pretty low effort. I'm also like 90% sure the composition and vocals here are all AI generated, so there's that as well. With all of that said, this shit has unfortunately been stuck in my head for the past week, and it's driving me insane. I'll just be doing some random work around my apartment when all of a fucking sudden, burbaloni, lalaloni, chill and round, coconut capybara rolling on the ground pops into my head, like God! Now, I haven't really talked about the accompanying video yet, but I mean, it's just the same AI video stuff we've been seeing this entire video at this point. Although I will say that the segment about Bananita Dolphinita is genuinely terrifying. Why does the dolphin peel itself back up? And why does the peel have a mouth? This shit is actually fucking scary. Anyway, weird banana peels aside, this song ended up going mega viral on TikTok, currently sitting at almost 30 million views. Now, when you have a video this popular on one platform, it would make a lot of sense to take it to other platforms and re-upload it for the maximum amount of exposure. Well, that's exactly what Lit Llamas did, except they did it way too late. Their official upload of this song on YouTube is only sitting at 1,900 views at the time I'm writing this, which is insanely low in comparison to the numbers over on TikTok. You're probably wondering then, why did this re-upload do so poorly? The answer? Someone else did it first. Days before Lit Llama got around to uploading the song on their own channel, the YouTuber Kazi decided to nab the video for themselves and upload it on their own channel. Kazi's upload is sitting at 3.2 million views currently. And when I started writing the script, it was under a million. So this video is gaining traction fast. Now you may be thinking, TikToks get re-uploaded to other platforms all the time without much thought, and there's rarely any real malicious intent behind that. With that being said though, This is not one of those cases. You remember the watermark at the top of the screen from the original upload? Kazzy decided it would be a swell idea to just put his own watermark on top of it for his upload to YouTube. Not only that, he also put an iShowSpeed green screen face cam in the bottom left of the video for some reason. Thankfully, there is a somewhat decent ending to this, as Kazzy has apologized for this entire situation multiple times on his own upload. So at the very least, there's that. But I mean, God, what a ridiculous situation. Well, with that out of the way, I think I've pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about here. Let's wrap this up. As this Italian Brainrot deep dive comes to a close, I must say, I am very interested to see where this all goes on the YouTube front. As mentioned in my little interjection earlier, bigger kids channels are finally starting to upload videos on this stuff, and it's really only a matter of time until the floodgates really break open. Or none of that will happen and nobody will talk about this shit ever again. Who's to say? I guess that's the fun of the game. We just gotta wait it out and see what happens. Anyway, with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for watching, and like always, I've been yeah, and I'll see you all next time.